Democratic candidate Pete Buttigieg has fronted a town hall in Iowa where he's continued to be plagued with questions over his lack of appeal with minority voters.
Joining us now from Iowa is political reporter Annalise Nielsen. Annalise, you've been at a few campaign rallies now, but what did voters have to say this time?
Well, there's always a bit of a difference between what the media is talking about and what the voters are talking about at these rallies, as you guys well know. But today it really was about healthcare. There were a number of disability advocates at this meeting in Ottumwa. As you can see, it's not the biggest town here, but these voters are very well versed, having been participating in the Iowa caucuses for a number of years now. And so they did have a few issues they wanted to grill him on. He has, though, at a few rallies been asked about this issue of minority support. It's something that's really plagued his campaign from the very beginning. There's been an online campaign calling him Mayo Pete. Now, it's a play on the fact he's been the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, but comparing him to mayonnaise, not the most exciting condiment, but very popular among especially the Midwest. And so it has been something he's had to fight against for quite some time. And it was fueled today by this report from the New York Times that members of his campaign team, who are minority members, feel like they're not being dutifully respected. He said that it's something he's constantly working on.
It's one of the reasons why we've taken steps that may not be something that is typical or has happened a lot before in presidential campaigns, to try to empower staffers at all levels to be able to speak to their experiences, to raise concerns, and to have these tough conversations. And they are tough in every organization and in our country. We've got to work much harder to do a better job when it comes to making sure that inclusion is a reality, especially in the Trump era. And this is an opportunity to live those values, and if there are challenges along the way, that's just a reminder of why it's so important.
Now, Pete Buttigieg is a very interesting candidate. He's in his late 30s, which is much younger than the rest of the field. He's been polling consistently behind the top three and isn't very well known in Australia. But he has served with Australians when he was in the military, and he said that that's going to influence his relationship with Australia if he does become president.
I served side by side with Australians in Afghanistan and have seen the value of everything from military to intelligence cooperation. It makes America safer, and we share so many common values and common goals with Australia, that on everything from Pacific Rim security issues to future coalitions that we're going to work in together, it's imperative that we have strong diplomatic as well as security relationships, and that will be a very important priority for me as president.
Now, the Iowa caucus campaign trail has been very much overshadowed by the impeachment hearings in Washington. Some of those big contenders like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders have been held back because they need to watch what's happening there. Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota, she's not as well known either for many Australians, but she has also been held up in Washington. So it's been an interesting feel on the ground here in Iowa. You can tell that candidates like Pete Buttigieg are taking every advantage they can to get those people over the line and literally in their corner when all those Iowans gather in schools, gyms, recreation centres next Monday to then stand in the corner of who they're supporting and put forward their case.